inside of Photoshop comes inside of Liquify. It lets us work on the face. It has facial recognition, and it lets us kind of tweak the face however we want to. First thing with this image, though, we need to put a little life back in this young lady. So let's adjust the colors just a little bit, just to kind of soothe my satisfaction on it, I guess, more than anything. I'm going to click on the little hand with the finger extended here and just click on her face, and it shows that as the reds area. So I'm going to click and drag it to the right a little bit and get some color in her cheeks. I'm going to click in the hair also and see if we can't bring the reds up in her hair a little bit too. Alright, that looks pretty nice. Let's get this out of the way. So now if you're satisfied with the colors in the image, we can just kind of go ahead and sandwich this color onto the layer below. And in my case, this is a smart layer. Notice right down here, and when it comes into your Photoshop, I don't know that it's coming as a smart layer, but because I'm using a little extension here with pixels, it's bringing it in as a smart object. So what I'm going to do is make just a regular layer of this same information. So I'm going to do a Control A, which selects everything in the image, Control C, which copies it to the digital clipboard, and then I'm going to do a Control V, and of course if you're on a Macintosh that would be Command A, Command C, and Command V is in victory, and that gives us this image here that is not a smart layer. I'm just going to turn this one off, and now you see that still is affecting this layer here. I'm going to do a Control E to make that part of this layer, and if I turn both of these on and I turn the eyeball off on this one, you see there's the before and after. So just a little bit of a change in her skin tone, but I think it makes a pretty big difference. Now what I want to do is work on her face just a little bit. She's cute as a button, but I'm going to do some things, and you have to determine whether you're actually making the photograph for the person better or worse. So let's go to Filter, and let's go to Liquify and just see what we get. So I've got a huge screen here. I have to resize this. So here we go. Now, if you don't see these features around here as you move the mouse, if it's not around her face, click down here where this is the face tool. It actually looks like a person, and it will, if you have multiple people in the image, up here you'll see face 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So we're just going to work on her face, and notice if I move my mouse in here, I get all kinds of different little things pop up. That means I don't have to go over here to these sliders and work. I can work on it directly right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and notice this has its own zoom tool, or you can press the letter Z as in zebra and click a few times to make that bigger, because we want to zoom in. Now, with the little face tool on, again, we can move things in here, but I like the control that all of these little sliders give us on the face. So the eyes, for example, usually you want to have the same effect on each eye, so you can click this to link left and right size of the eyes. So if I move the left eye only, notice they both are opening and closing. So I'm going to take that down to a -26. I'm going to also click on the link for the eye height and just see, we can have our eyes more open, or we can squint them a little bit. Eye width, again, I'm going to have these together. and we can open them up or close them down. I've raised it a little bit. And eye tilt. Now, each eye may be slightly different in tilt, and if we move, go to this band here and move outside of that just a little bit, that's the eye tilt, the double arrow. So I can click and move her eye however I want to in the image, and go over here and do the same thing on the other eye. And we can go down here and click on preview to see the difference in the image. And that's a little too far here on this eye, so I'm gonna image changes not visible because the preview is checked. Yep, need that on so we can see. Gotta get that back up. There we go. So we'll try it right in there. Now, if we went too far and we can't get our eyes right back and lined up right, we can either hold down the Alt key on a PC or the Option key on a Mac and click Reset. Okay. Now, let's move down here, the next one. And normally, these default to being closed, I believe. So just click that little arrow and it'll open up for you. Nose height. I'm going to turn her nose a little more into a button nose, just bring it up a little bit. And I'm going to narrow her nose, so I'll take that to the left. As you can see, it's going in a little narrower. Now then, the mouth. We can kind of close that smile down a little bit, and we can change the upper lip. Let's go down here to the mouth height first of all, and we can kind of close that a little bit more or open it up. It's up to us. Mouth width, we can draw that in just a little bit, and I did. Lower lip, we can make it bigger or smaller. Make it a little bit bigger, I think. And I actually made it a little bit smaller. All right, now we're going to go down to forehead. If we raise it up, you see what happens here. I'm going to bring her forehead down just a little bit. And then I'm going to bring her chin height down a little bit too. And jawline, let's just see. Let's draw that in just a little bit. Again with the preview, here's where we were. All right, so let's go and face width. Let's just narrow her face in just a little bit. And let's look at preview again. Pretty dramatic at this point, isn't it? All right, let's look at the mouth again and see what we want to do. Let's just kind of tweak these a little bit and see what we want to do. And I'm going to preview. So she's not as, here's a lot more happy a face than we've made here. So I'm going to reset this. So I'm holding down the Alt key, Option key on a Mac, and it should go back. Let's see. Nope, it's not going back. Try reset again. All right, what we can do, let's go down to the, all right, for some reason on mine, I can't get the thing to give me back my regular look. So I'm going to just cancel this to go back where I was and go right back in again to Liquify. So as you see, we all have issues in Photoshop sometimes. Doesn't make any difference how many years or days or minutes you have. I'm going to do a Control minus here and get it back to right in here and click on the face tool again. And this time I'm going to have all of these together so I don't mess her eyes up. I think that's one of the things I was most unhappy with what I did at first. So let's go and do the eye size again. Let's see if we can't pump it up just a little bit, maybe right in there. Eye height. So we can open those up a little bit more. Eye width. I went the other way, remember, before. Now let's do a preview. Let's see. Yeah, we've definitely opened them up a little bit, maybe too much. Eye tilt. Let's see. Okay, we took it down a little bit. Eye distance, we probably won't mess with that. We'll just leave that on 0. I do want to take the nose up, and I'm going to narrow it just a little bit. So here's, again, I should have been doing the preview a little sooner. I'm going to close those eyes down just a little bit up here. That's a little better, I think. Now let's preview it. Yeah, that's much better. All right, now I'm going to work on the jawline. You can tweak the mouth however you might want to. I'm going to leave it alone in this particular instance and work on face shape instead. So I'm going to bring the forehead down a little, and not a lot, and chin height. Let's just see what we can do. Maybe give her a little more chin, not much. And jawline, I'm going to take the jawline in a little. So it's a -20, and the face width just a little bit. Now we preview, and we've made her a little bit more narrow faced. So I'm going to click OK. And now if I turn this off, you can see the before and after. There's the way it originally looked. Now, the great thing about this is if we worked on this layer here that is the smart object, whatever changes we made here, we could go right back into where those changes were and change them again and not hurt anything. They would be just where we left them. But now that it's on its own layer and it's not a smart layer, if I go back to Liquify, all of these controls are going to be back to neutral again. See, they're all on 0. So if I zoom in again, and I'm going to just click, remember, I got a zoom tool right over here. I'm going to maybe narrow her face just a little bit more. So I'm going to go down to where the face shape is and bring that face in a little bit more. There's the preview. Now why it's not real dramatic right there, I'll click OK because that is the second time we narrowed the face. So let's see from the original that's down here, let's see what it looks like now. See, we really reduced the face a bit more, but I think you can risk that. I think you can do that on somebody's portrait because we made her, I think, look a little bit better. And that's the key with all of this. If we go in here a third time, and we can, but remember each time we do it, we're changing the image overall because we don't have that protected as we would in a smart layer. So again, I'm gonna just make this bigger. And let's see if we can't just maybe make the eyes a little, let's close them up a little bit. Let's just, eye height go down a little bit. Let's do the eye tilt and see if we can't change. Now let's look at it. Yeah. So we'll click, and so now we'll turn that off. So I think we've made the image better. But let me show you the difference. If this is a smart layer that we're working on, this one, for example, and we can, we can still put an adjustment on there, so we can get her skin tone here and run that to the right a little bit and redden that up, redden her hair up a little bit here. And we can take the saturation up a little bit higher if we want to. So now let's put this mask on top of this. So if we want to adjust it, we can. Now I'm going to click back on this layer and go into the Liquify again. and make her bigger, not that big. It's Control minus or Command minus, not plus. Now I'm going to just quickly change these and show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to make her eye size smaller. Now they're both changed the same. Make her eye height, bring it down, and we'll leave tilt maybe right in there. I think that looks kind of cute. And let's go bring this down. We're going to bring the nose up and narrow it. And we can narrow that a little bit more. So here we go to scale the mouth. No, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to take the forehead down a little and chin height down a little, and then the jawline. Going to bring it in and the face width in. So here's the preview. So I like it. Click OK. Now the cool thing is we go down here. Here's our Liquify on a smart filter. So if I turn that off and on, you can see the difference we made. But the coolest thing is if we double click on Liquify, we go right back into the Liquify filter, and the settings are all the way we adjusted them to. They're not reset to center, so we're only tweaking this. Remember, a smart layer is always protected. We're never really working on the image directly. So if I want to go in here and take the nose height up a little bit more yet, let's zoom in here some more. So if I want to take the nose height up, see it go up a little bit more, and if I want to narrow it some more and click OK, and so now we see, if we turn that off, you see the difference that we've made overall. If I double click on Liquify again, we're going to go right back in there again, make this bigger, and notice the sliders are the same as they were. If I go to the jawline and so forth, here you see we've taken the face width down, down, down. We moved the nose. See, the nose is way up here. If I take that up further, we're gonna, we got to be careful that we don't overdo any of that. So we can keep coming back, all we want to on this. Can't see it changing now. Aggravating me. It takes a little bit longer sometimes. That's turned off. So that's the new look. Let's see if we can. Yeah, there we go. And remember, we can go back there again and again and again on a smart layer, because remember, if I double click this, there's that smart layer. The actual layer is right here protected. So we're not touching it. It's always protected. All right, so that wraps up this shorter video. And I think you can see where we can really change an image for the better. You just don't want to go too drastic. And if you think you have, better go back and bring it back a little closer to the way it was. And you can always do that as long as it's a smart layer. If you do it the way we did it over here, you're permanently changing the image, and you can't undo it as successfully as you can with a smart layer. All right, if you have any questions, you know where I am and how to get a hold of me. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Bye, y'all.